It's now time for the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF and KBRFradio.com, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare, Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toyota, and by Running Stitches. Now for the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe, here's Craig Olson.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the program. Last Saturday, last day of February, March Madness starts tomorrow. I have news for you. It has started already, okay? Maybe not on the college scene, kind of has, but the high school scene, we're going. Playoffs are underway. We have 3 playoff games tonight on our Leighton media stations. The Otter girls basketball team is home tonight, and we'll have that one on KBRF right here on News Talk 1250, KBRF AM. Jason, that's Mark Johnson will be doing that one. I'm doing this from memory. My memory this week has not been good, but Mark Johnson will be doing the game tonight with the Otter girls over at Roosevelt. 3rd straight night with the game at Roosevelt. Gotta love that if you're a basketball fan. And then on KJ Country tonight, Bob Roars is in Rothsay. Rothsay Tigers, West Central area night, 6A girls basketball. That's a 4 against a 5. That should be a good one. And the top-seeded Hillcrest Comets play tonight as well. They have a home game this evening against Hancock, and Jason Retzoff will be there. That will be on 977 FM this evening. And today is also seeding day for the boys. We'll find out who teams play, where they play, when they play, all of that today at some point. And we are going to start with boys basketball this morning as Brad Strand is with us, and Brad is assistant coach to Matt Johnson. And first question, hi, Brad.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
First question I had for Brad was, how do you like this assistant thing?
You know, I love it. I love it because I work with really great coaches. Yeah. Really great coaches. Matt, Ryan, and Taylor, really fun for me to be around them.
Well, and Matt has told me on many occasions, I look down the bench and I see 2 former head coaches there as my assistants, and what a blessing that is too, to have that wealth of knowledge that you guys bring.
Yeah, I think it's been we make a great team, and I'll tell you, Matt, Coach Johnson is just a tremendous leader, tremendous head coach, doing a great job. And what makes it the most fun is the players we get to work with. Sure. For me, this year's team is just they're a lot of fun to be around.
So tournament start next week. You get seeding today. We're going to be on the road, unfortunately, but you know, it is what it is, and you got to be ready to play no matter where you play. You know,
this year of all years, this section is just so balanced. Going on the road is kind of a bummer, but it's going to be a matter of who can win 3 games, 1 game at a time. It sure looks like we're going to go to Wilmer. It's not official yet, but we split with them during the year, and they beat us on our court, and we beat them on their court the second time. So we kind of like that matchup as coaches. We don't like it so that we're overconfident, but we like it in the sense that we're similar kind of teams, and we think we've got some players that we can put them in the place where they can be successful.
And you've seen this team progress from week 1 to where they're at right now. And I mentioned to you when you came in that this is not a team that I would want to play if I were anybody else in the section right now, because you're going to be a tough matchup for teams.
The growth of this team has been tremendous, the growth. If we look back to November when we started practice, and then we've gone through some adversity. I mean, we've had some really tough injuries at different times, mainly the big one with Trenton Juilliard missing about 8 weeks and getting him back and fitting into the system, and that's a great one to get back. But we've also had some other ones where just some ankles, some sickness that have really changed what we think we're going to do, and the kids have always responded. So we're getting healthy. And so now we're going to have some really good prep going into that Wednesday game.
The Trenton Juilliard situation, when he was out, where did you see the most impact on the team as far as growth individually from players who had to step into different roles or fill a spot?
You know, I think the biggest growth there would have been a sophomore who, you know, really got thrown into a varsity spot just as a 6-man. That's Eli Fullhart. He really had to just step up and be ready to go. I also would credit an Isaac Mock. You know, he's a senior. What a great senior we've had out of him. And he just had to step into a role where you never know. Matchups do matter. And he's he's a football player, right? He's a strong young man. And depending on who we play and certain times at certain matchups, he's been a really nice one off the bench. And I look at, I think Nolan has really stepped up. I thought Cam Wiedrick at different times as a senior has really stepped up and given us that growth. We kind of knew what we would expect, from Micah and Pee Wee, who've played quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And if you look back at the beginning of the year, Jacob Jentz as well. I mean, to be a 5-man and have to go 34 to 36 minutes. And I think right now he's probably our leading free throw shooter. His 2-point percentage is really good. And he's got to defend guys that are usually always 2 to 3 inches taller than him.
And he's been a kind of a double-double machine for you at times as well. As far as Trenton's return, where's he at right now physically and what he's producing? I watched some of the video game last night, and he looks like he's into the flow pretty well. How would you assess where he's at physically?
So this is the second game back. In the first game, we were really conscious. I'd say the last 2 games, we've been really conscious on minutes as coaches. We're trying to kind of monitor that. So we're trying to, the first game, we tried to go maybe about 2 to 3 minutes at a crack and then give him a 2 to 3 minute break. Last night, we tried to extend it a little bit. So hopefully this next game, we'll be able to see, can he give us a 5-minute spurt or a 6-minute spurt and then get a couple minutes out? But athletically, he really adds a lot to our team, and his scoring punch early in the year. We need his athleticism, and so hopefully that's going to continue. And he also did a nice job of prepping to get back. I think his physical therapist did a tremendous job with him. And then when he got on the bike to get the lungs back. So I think he's not full strength yet, but I think he's healthy. But it's just a matter of getting him into game speed.
Tuesday night, you guys went to Ricori. You won the game 64-49. It's one of those games where on paper you're going, okay, this is one we should win. And not that you would say that to your guys maybe, but you certainly knew going in that this was a team you had an advantage on. And you came out and played like you hope your team does in those situations.
Yeah, we all know that Ricori is a tough place to play.
Right.
You could probably say that about every team in this CLC. But over the years, Ricori's, that's a basketball school.
Yep.
And they've got great tradition. They hadn't been winning this year, but if you look at their scores, well, they did, like late in the year, they got Brainerd 95-93 in double overtime. They've played everybody close. So we really like how we came out and got after them on their court, had a great first half, and defensively we just set the tone.
Well, and Eston Bethel scored 33 for you. When Eston's shooting the ball, good things are bound to happen, right?
Yeah, we talk about him really truly being unguardable. When he starts hitting those threes, I don't know who's going to keep him in front, because you got to stop the three. So you get up a little bit and you get one step closer to him. There are not very many players that can keep him in front, but his 3-point percentage the second half of the season has just been tremendous.
Yeah, and the thing is, he can hit him from anywhere. It seems, right? He doesn't have one spot out there.
No, he doesn't have one spot, and he gets downhill really fast.
Yeah,
and so if you get up a little bit, he's really been a good, fun player to have on the team.
And he's one of those players that creates a lot of transition opportunities for you with his defense and his quickness, and yeah.
And he's got great court vision as well. Like, a kid about Eston is he's as happy as the assist as the bucket. So if there's a chance to drop a ball to somebody, he's more than willing to do that as well, even though he can score in bunches for us.
Jacob Jentz had 11 points, 9 rebounds that night. There's that almost double-double thing I was talking about, but a good road win. And then coming home, you knew last night going in against Tech, number one, they're an athletic team. They're a tough matchup for a lot of teams in the section in the conference. But also you were battling for a home court. You had an opportunity to get a home court advantage, so there was a lot more at stake last night.
Yeah. Speaking of their long athleticism, I don't know the last time I've seen that many block shots in the first 8 minutes of a game. On deep threes, and you think you've got 6 to 8 feet between you and the defender, and I think they got about 3 or 4 of them from a couple of our different players. We know inside around the basket they're going to block shots, but I was shocked at how long they were on the perimeter. So there was a lot on the line last night, both for Tech playing for a home game and us playing for a home game. Had a tough start. We had a tough start and got down kind of a lot. But boy, the kids responded at halftime. Coach Johnson made a few adjustments and challenged some guys, and I thought we really responded and put ourselves there. It's just they hit a few shots right down the stretch after we had just hit some shots. I think we had a 7-point possession.
Right.
A 7-point possession, and then we got another 3 on the next trip. So all of a sudden, there's a 10-point within about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The roof was about ready to come off. Yeah, the roof was about ready to come off. It was really loud. The atmosphere was great. And then we missed a couple, and Tech made a couple plays.
Well, the fans were ready to explode because Tech took the crowd right out of the game right away. It was 15-2. And that's huge when you're going on the road, especially a place like Roosevelt. you want to get the crowd quiet. You don't want them involved.
Right, absolutely, and they did a great job of that, and they just shot the ball so well too.
Yeah.
Now, not only their defense, but they shot the ball really well, and we were on our heels from the get-go.
Yeah, absolutely. But your guys were resilient. Like you said, you battled back, got the lead, I think, at 52-49 was the first time you had the lead, the only time I think that you had the lead, because they came back and answered with the run. So it was from a fan standpoint, I think it was a very entertaining game and satisfying in some ways for the Otter fans to see them bounce back the way they did. They didn't just phone it in that second half.
And give credit to Tech, because that's a team that's really also improved. They haven't always been healthy either, and so they've been battling a few things. And so the first time we played, a couple of their guys weren't in the lineup. Or the second, yes, first time we played, but they've definitely gotten better. They're young as well, so they've played everybody really tough. They've had some tough wins here down the stretch, and I would give them props, because they really did. They earned that win, and
yeah,
might be an okay, not a first round matchup for the Otters.
But you might see him again. Who knows?
Oh, we might see him again. Absolutely. Again, you don't know. It's a matter of, I know anybody can beat anybody in our section.
Yep.
It's going to really come down as who can win that second game, and then who's got the grit to come out with that third win. That's going to be the tough job. But anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
Is there any one team in the section that is playing like better ball than any team right now?
I think Apollo and Sartell, but I would say Apollo has been really playing well down the stretch. We also think from watching film that they maybe have lost one of their players to an injury. He was in a sling anyway, and they're not a deep team. They really have 5 players. They are not deep at all. So they got they're going through a little adversity themselves, but they had just beaten Tech. We were watching it actually on our way home from Ricori in, I think it was double overtime. They got a bucket right at the buzzer, basically, to beat Tech. So that tells me how good Tech is as well.
Things have changed since you started coaching, Brad. You could watch other games on your way home on the bus.
Yeah, all coaches had their phones out, and we were all trying to, a little competitive and who's ahead of who on the stream. And somebody stop it and reload it to try to get ahead of the other person, or we'd hit a spot where we started to buffer. But yes, it has changed tremendously, but you can sit and watch the outcome of a game.
Well, I had this conversation with Matt then on one of the previous shows about scouting has changed. You used to go to gyms all the time. I'd see you if I was broadcasting a game when you were doing coaching at Pelican. I'd be doing an Otter game, and you were there scouting to see what the teams had that were coming up on your schedule. You don't do that anymore.
No, it's definitely changed. It's allowed, for these younger coaches that have families, it's really nice for them that they don't have to be on the road so much. One thing for the Otters, though, is coaches here always are willing to drive. Right. And I always thought we had an advantage on some coaches from the southern part of our conference that weren't always willing to drive to Fergus to watch us, but we were willing to watch them. So it's probably put us a little bit on an even playing field in that area. But I still think I think the Otter coaches work really, really hard in getting our kids prepped, watching lots of film, and stats help as well. And
sure.
I'm sure other coaches are doing the same thing we're doing, but it's changed for sure.
You referred to Eli Fullhart as being one of the players that maybe grew the most in the absence of Trenton Drugard. He had a big 3 last night to tie the game, I think, at 49, and then Trenton hit the following 3 to make it 52-49. But as far as Eli's confidence right now and the trust that you guys have as coaches, he was Jason's player of the game last night for what he brought to the court, but that's the other side of this, isn't it? That the confidence that the coaches have in putting him in a clutch situation now, that's a lot higher than it may have been, when Trenton got hurt.
Absolutely, and he brings a really good rebounding presence too. And we need that. We need his length on the floor, and his scoring punch. He can score at different levels. I just think his growth has really come along. I think he got thrown in a little sooner than maybe what we thought would end up being. We thought we would let him, mature a little bit more through the JV action, but he kind of got thrown in, and I think he's taken that, and I think he's got a really high ceiling as well. I don't think we're even close to tapping his potential right now.
Well, it's nice to have options going into the playoffs. You never know, sickness, illness, injury, you never know when you're going to need people to step up. And that old saying, that next man up thing, is so true, and maybe never more so than playoff time.
Well, the one that I think about is that Sartell game when we knocked off who's going to be the number 1 seed, when Eston rolled his ankle, and John Abrahams played the entire second half. and we beat him, right? And he played great. You never know when you get that opportunity. So, and then you don't get the opportunity. He's still, you're positive. You work hard in practice, but man, that was that's going to be one of those you think back in your head and wow, you just never know who's ready to go. And so all you guys stay ready and all practice hard.
One of the things we love about sports, isn't it? I
Yes.
mean, yeah, always be ready, work hard. You never know when your chance will come. And I would be probably chastised by fans out there if I don't get the update on your girls, because, of course, Brad coached the Otter girls for, I don't know how many years, but
About 9, I think.
9 years. Okay. Do we have 3 state tournament trips in those 9 years?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Bailey and Caitlin played for the Otters. Mackenzie was already graduated. She was a Viking and had a great career over there with Brian Korf and the Vikings. But give us the update on the family.
Yeah, the update is our oldest Mackenzie has 2 girls. We have 2 granddaughters, 4 and 2, Nova and Eden. Bailey and her husband Phil. Recently, they have identical twin boys.
Awesome.
So they're 10 months old. 10 months old. And our youngest, Caitlin, she just got engaged and she's getting married this summer.
Wow.
So the family's growing.
It is growing. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Brad, thanks for coming in. Good to connect with you, and appreciate all you're doing in the years that you have devoted to the kids. So.
Hey, Craig, it's always great to see you and what you do for area high school sports and college sports, but high school sports and high school kids does not go unnoticed. We really appreciate everything you do, Craig.
Thanks, Brad. Get that breakfast now from the Viking.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay?
All
right.
a treat.
Brad Strand, assistant coach to Matt Johnson with the Outer Boys basketball team. Remember to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926. That's 321-1926. Your chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe comes up later in the show. We're going to close out Outer Boys hockey conversation with Mike Donahue after the break, so don't go away. It's the Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
A fresh shipment of brand new Buick Enclaves and Buick Envisions has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. If you've been waiting for the perfect SUV, now's your moment. The spacious, refined Buick Enclave with 3 rows of comfort and confidence. Or the sleek, stylish Buick Envision that is smart, smooth, and ready for where life takes you. Buick, exceptional by design. Minnesota Motor. South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the show. We were supposed to do our exit interview with Coach Donahue last Saturday, but we didn't have the show. I was out sick and I had no subs. And at least in hockey, you always have a sub, it seems.
We've got a few, that can step up and fill a role.
And I've got a couple of good subs. They just weren't available last week.
Well,
so
you've got awful big shoes to fill too.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. They're getting smaller and tighter. I don't know. Mike, the hockey season ended earlier than you had hoped. And Wilmer, we got to get away from Wilmer. They kind of spoiled the party the last couple of years.
Well, we knew, going in anywhere from our 3 to 6 seeds, even dropped down to our 7 seed, who got a really tough draw against Northern Lakes, who just won the section title the other night. So any of those teams, they were any given night, you're counting on a couple bounces. You're going to have to make plays. You're going to have to defend really well. And we knew going in what we'd be up against.
Wilmer put 41 shots on goal that night. Were they doing things differently than they did the first 2 times you played them this year, or what was enabling them to get those scoring opportunities?
They were shooting the puck. I think any opportunity they had, they were going to get a puck to the net. So a lot of I thought perimeter shots, which is fine. Those are if team wants to shoot the puck. It's good and bad, I think. If a goalie starts feeling the puck, you're going to get a goalie involved in the game, and they're going to get their confidence going. And
see Connor Hellebuck on that one, right?
I think, we saw that last Sunday morning. He saw a lot of rubber.
Yeah, and he did the job. But, yeah, that's true. You don't think of that all the time. There may be nothing worse for a goalie than just sitting down there all alone, never seeing the puck, and then all of a sudden they're on you. Well,
yeah, and if you're moving a goalie, you have good traffic going to the net, that makes it really difficult on them. And, so I think a lot of perimeter shots, they come out, they had a little different lineup, created a little, adjusted their scoring depth a little differently, which, we were forced to try to match.
How big an advantage is it to have that last line change in a playoff game like that? Does that give you a big advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. You're looking at how deep a bench do you want to run? How deep is the other team? What is their how good is their top line? How good is their second line? So there's a lot of that. Just jockeying back and forth on your line matches and who you want on the ice in certain situations.
How does that change at playoff time? Because, you're running 2 lines out there, maybe a lot more than you do 3 or definitely not 4 in playoff situations.
Yeah, and that's, we felt we were better when we were able to run 3 lines and being able to have a little bit more depth. That was a matchup that I felt we had an advantage over Wilmer, was on that 3rd line matchup. And anytime they were on the ice, we created lots of great scoring opportunities with Zach Pierce and Corbin Prophet out there. They created a lot of chances for us throughout that game. They just couldn't find the back of the net with it. But when you're looking at a team that's going 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, we just felt that it was in our best interest as a hockey team to put us in a good situation at the end of the game to try to match those lines that they were throwing on the ice.
First period was scoreless. Now, if I'm Wilmer coming into your building in a playoff and the underdog and it's scoreless after 1, I'm thinking, hey, we won that period.
Yeah, I don't know. I've coached a lot of playoff games, and, no matter what round or who your opponent is, there's a lot of nerves on both sides of that puck. So you just try to get the guys settled in, try to get the guys on the ice, try to make some simple plays, make some body contact. If you're not into it, maybe you need to get hit. Sometimes that's another strategy, but, trying to just feel out that first 17 minutes, I think, is really important. We had a really young lineup out there, guys without a ton of experience. And, even coming out 0-0 with our first period history throughout the year, we even felt good about that.
Good point, yeah, because first period has not been your friend this year. You did get the first goal, though. Caden Zender scored from Luke Johnson, got you going 1-0, and to Wilmer's credit, they answered.
Yeah, we had a good second period. Lukey made a great cross-ice pass to Caden, and Caden threw it right upstairs in a pretty tight area to give us a lead. And things are going our way until the last 3 minutes, and we took an unfortunate penalty. There's penalties you can get away with throughout hockey games and hockey seasons, and penalties that you can't. And Wilmer's had a really good power play all year, and we kind of got trapped in our end. Got a long change in that second period, and I think we had 4 or 5 guys just laying in the crease, and you got their leading goal scorer with the puck, and you know where that thing's going to end up.
You have throughout this season played pretty well shorthanded, haven't you? As a team, you're pretty pleased with their penalty kill overall.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and we just ran out of gas, and we got chasing in our end, and we're never able to settle that last part of that penalty kill down. And you give good teams with good power plays, you give them too many opportunities, and teams are going to cash in and take advantage.
Wilmer took the lead in the third period, about less than 5 minutes in. They got the advantage, and it was then imperative that the Otters get that one back and get it even and let the fight be on for the last several minutes of the game. And you were able to get a power play opportunity, and Tanner Donahue got the power play goal for you.
Yeah, something we've seen a few times this year. Just with our setup, we really liked how those guys were moving the puck, and Caden was able to find Tanner up top and kind of get it into his little wheelhouse there, and he got it off his stick in a hurry, and Parker Tilke did a great job in front of the net. He's a really good net front on that power play, and able to take that goalie's eyes away, able to grab a couple of their defenders, and he's got a good stick in there, and Tanner was able to find a lane through all that traffic.
So how accurate is Tanner's shot?
That's a question for Holdy, I think. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. He's been working hard at it, and you get a lot of traffic, and one area that he's really done a good job is getting his eyes up, feeling pressure, creating some deception up top, and we encourage him, if that lane's there, you got to fire the puck. Otherwise, you've got Brody on one flank, he's got Caden on the other flank. There's a couple pretty good hockey players there to support him, and we just really like the way that those three were able to move the puck up top, and if we needed to get that thing down low, Lukey Johnson was able to find some seams for us down low on that power play. So, you reflect on a lot of things, and we're really excited that we have 4 of those 5 guys back. I mentioned Parker in net front on that power play, and we'll have 4 of those guys back next year.
Yeah. Caden was right in the mix of the scoring there with a goal and an assist that night. He has really been a productive offensive player for you. How far has Caden come this year in your estimation?
Yeah, that's something you look at when you exit last year's team, and I just was looking at it the other day. We lost 175 points off of last year's team.
Wow.
So when we look at that, how that's a lot of points to replace. Huh. So you look at Caden had a really good year. You look at Lukey had a really good year, and where are we going to, manufacture a lot of those rest of those points coming into the season. So those two, and you talk about Caden and Lukey, they really stepped up and created that for us. Parker scored some huge goals for us. When you look at the back end and the way our defensemen performed with Tanner, I think he had just about 20 points this year. Brody had points. Brant Sherman, as a senior captain at the D, throws 7 pucks in the net for us. So, you got freshman Chase Johnston back there. He ended up with 16 or 17 points between forward and D. So, we found those guys, I think, to kind of step up and fill some spots.
So after you tied that game at 2, we were, there was like 9 minutes left in the game when that happened. So the fight was on, and it was a battle into that final minute, and Wilmer got the goal with less than a minute to go. Was there a breakdown there, or were there some opportunities that you missed going into that last minute?
Well, we had a power play, I think, opportunity with about 5 minutes left, and I talked about Tanner with the little one-timer, puck on and off his stick, and Caden threw another one in his wheelhouse, which it had a lane to the net, and unfortunately his stick ended up in about 3 pieces instead of, when you're going from maybe going up by a goal at that point of the game to a broken stick and defending a odd man rush coming down due to the circumstances. And that's these sticks are great until they blow up in your hand when you're in a scoring opportunity and one little nick on there. So, that was an unfortunate situation. But you go on to the end of the game. There's, just over a minute left, and we had a power play, our end zone face off, and we called a timeout. Had to reset some of our guys. Our line matchup, our guys were tired, and we just weren't able to get the job done in our end. We had to commit defensively, and Wilmer did a good job going low to high and rotating the puck across, and we just couldn't get guys in the right spots to make the right play at the right time. And Wilmer was able to, you tell your D offensively that puck just has to get past that first layer and get it to the net, and that's what Wilmer did.
And they added an empty net goal, and 4-2 was the final in that one. So you lose your goalie, number one, Holden Sandstrom, to graduation. But as you mentioned already, you've got a lot of guys who skated a lot of varsity minutes this year who are coming back for you. up front and back on the blue line. So there's a lot to like there. What's your message to this team, and what's the message to the fans about the goalie situation? Who's waiting in the wings? Is there a battle that's going to go on there? What can you tell us as this season ends and we look at next year?
Yeah, you start on the goaltender front. We've got Brecken Reed and Levi Klosvik were our JV goalies this year. Brecken was at, I think, a 904 by the end of the year, and Levi was, I think, like an 898. So when you look at both at right about 90, both, they did a really good job developing this year. And I told them a while ago, I said, you guys need to start battling and competing and preparing yourselves from this year. The chance of beating Holy out, he's our guy. We're going with him. So it was a little good competition for those two to continue to push themselves. And one thing we looked at the JV level is we tried to split those guys evenly for every game. To us, as a coaching staff, that was how we were going to get a really good assessment of where each of those goalies really were in their development point. And they showed us both how good a job that they can do in there. So it'll start there. They've got some goalie training already on their schedules to get ready, and understanding that they're going to have some really big shoes to fill.
And as far as a message to the rest of the team now that you're in the off season?
Well, it's got to start now, and it's the team building thing. It's the we got to get that desire, I think, to win, to be able to take care of those little detail things. It starts now, especially for those kids not in a sport. You can't be wasting any time. Yeah, take a week off, take the 2 weeks off. Let's get through the state tournament this week, and then we got to lock in and get refocused on getting back and improving yourself and improving the team and improving those around you. We got a lot of guys that like to lift weights, that like to get in the weight room. I can think of Hunter Welly comes right to my mind with his strength and speed and the way that he can shoot the puck. We got to get him handling the puck a little bit better and making some plays. But any kid that wants to get in the weight room, I said, call Hunter. He'll get you stronger. He'll make you stronger. So those are the kind of kids that we need to reach out to.
Were you born in 1980 when the Olympics?
I was alive. I was born a little before that. I hope I was out of diapers. Otherwise, we have some issues.
Well, the reason I bring it up, not because of that, but what does the Olympic gold do to the excitement for hockey in Fergus Falls and all over the country?
Yeah, you look at the growth, not just from you talk about hockey as a whole. You look at what the women did, the way that they just dominated that Olympics until the gold medal game, and then you look at how resilient the men are. It's just the growth. I think the growth of hockey in the entire country and the nation. You got the captain of the Olympic team out of Arizona. Who would have thought that in 1980?
Nobody.
So you just imagine and look at the growth of the game and the amount of opportunities out there for all the kids. It's just amazing.
Yeah, Herbie wasn't scouting Arizona for any Olympians back then. No. All right, Mike, great. Well, thanks for being so consistent and coming in and talking about your team, and we'll look forward to dropping the puck next November.
Well, and thank you for your time and effort and commitment to, not just hockey, but all the area sports and athletes and all the promotions that you do. And I know I get messages from people all around the state I check Craig Olson Sports every week just to make sure I can get the updates. So thank you for all your hard work.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Mike Donahue, the head coach of the Otter Boys hockey team. And we're going to take a break and come back. We have a big Otter girls basketball game tonight that we'll be covering on News Talk 1250 KBRF with Mark Johnson putting on the basketball announcing gear instead of the hockey announcing. So we'll find out more about that with Josh Steer in just a couple of minutes. Before I take a break, though, remember to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926. That's 321-1926 for your chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. More to come on the Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
A fresh shipment of brand new Buick Enclaves and Buick Envisions has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. If you've been waiting for the perfect SUV, now's your moment. The spacious, refined Buick Enclave with 3 rows of comfort and confidence. Or the sleek, stylish Buick Envision that is smart, smooth, and ready for where life takes you. Buick, exceptional by design.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking girls basketball. Josh Steer is here, and the Otters have a big playoff game tonight. The Wilmer Cardinals are in town. That's a 6 o'clock start tonight at Roosevelt. Josh, 3 nights in a row at Roosevelt. We had your game Thursday, Otter boys last night, and another playoff game for your team tonight. I mean, does it get any better than that?
That's exactly what I was going to ask. I don't think it does. And it's going to be a little colder tonight, so what better way to spend your evening than in the Roosevelt gym, packing it up? Let's go. I mean, this is our last game there of the season, because no matter what happens, we're not playing there again. So let's fill it up with some maroon and gold, and let's get that place rocking early, and let's have a fun atmosphere.
As a number 2 seed, you got the home court advantage for the first game the other night against Ricori. And you took care of business from the get-go, 78-24. You mentioned, I know in your post-game comments to me, that you felt like you played real well tonight, and that's not always easy to do in a 1 versus 8 or a 2 versus 7 scenario.
Yeah, sometimes, and we have a couple of those games on our schedules of teams that are kind of rebuilding and trying to get something going. And when you play those games, when you walk out of the gym, there's a couple of feelings you can have. You can have a couple. The one feeling is, oh, we didn't play very well, but we still came away with the win. We still got the result was the intended result, but the process wasn't what it should be. And when we walked out of the gym on Thursday night, I thought, wow, if we play like that, we're going to be a tough out. And I know there's circumstances that allowed us to play like that, but at the same time, you still have to bring the energy, you still have to bring the effort. And you still have to execute. So the girls did that at a high level, which is something that we've really been harping on in practice the last couple of weeks, because we kind of felt like after the Davies game and Alec game, we kind of felt like we were soul searching a little bit, but the sky wasn't falling. So for us to work on those things in practice and then go out and do it in the first round of the playoffs was a good start for us.
You were applauding your defensive intensity, and defensive intensity shows up in a number of different ways. Steals that lead to breakaway opportunities and baskets, poor shooting on the other side because you're right in their face and causing them all kinds of fits. And it seems like that was all working the other night, because you held them to, 16% shooting. I think they made 11% of their threes. You forced a lot of turnovers, and my favorite stat, you had 19 assisted baskets out of your 28, and a lot of that comes off that defensive turnovers.
Yeah, and so turnovers, Hattie Fullhart, I think she had 8 steals, and then when you do that, you give the ball up, right? So you're trusting your teammates, and you're saying, you know what, we're gonna just run the floor, and our offense, our transition offense, is based on stops, so we have to get a stop, whether it's a steal, whether it's a rebound. When that possession ends, we're running. And that's really been the point of emphasis, talking about soul search, and that the last couple of weeks we've really been working on that in practice and trying to create those habits and tighten them up a little bit. So we call it head manning. You get somebody out on the sideline and you're pushing the ball, because the ball moves up the court a lot faster on a pass than it does on the dribble. So we're looking to push the pace, and the girls did a great job of that. And when you do that, you make we call it the easy pass. You make the easy pass to the girl that's open. Even though you might want to throw all the way up to try to get that layup, you might want to make that, that really nice looking sports center pass from 3/4 court to underneath the basket and drop a dime in there. But sometimes that's a really hard pass. So you got to make the pass to set up the next one. It's kind of like hockey. If they could give you 2 assists, it'd be great. So you make the pass that leads to the assist that leads to the basket. And when you're doing that, it's just a fun brand of basketball. The ball's moving, lots of kids touching it, and everybody's feeling really good. So even on a missed shot, we're looking to do that, and even on a made shot, we're looking to try to do that too. Get the ball out of the basket, get it inbounds, and let's roll.
I'm an advocate of that 2 assists thing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Absolutely.
It'd be tough to stat, I suppose, because the game does happen pretty fast. But it would be. I mean, there's something to be said about it.
In this day and age, with all the instantaneous video replay, slow-mo, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pay somebody, that's all. Then you'll do anything. But Presley Warren, 5 rebounds. Reese Keel, 6 assists. Elizabeth Clinert, 7 rebounds. You got a lot of girls doing what they need to do, filling their roles that we've talked about many times.
Absolutely. Impacting the game, not scoring the ball. And if you have kids that can do that, you're going to be tough. And Hattie's been putting the ball in the hoop for us. Carly's been consistent. But, we only have 1 in double figures, I think, on?
No, Carly had 13.
Okay, we had 2. We had 2 in double figures and scored 78 points.
Yep.
So to do that, you're getting lots of contributions elsewhere too. You're getting, a lot of single digit scores, but you're getting a lot of other impacts. And we look at deflections too, and those stats, and those are really important because those lead to steals, or those lead to some defensive stops for us. So we have a lot of kids right now, and it's fun this time of year because you don't have the JV game to contend with a little bit. So our rotations maybe change a little bit, because now you've got, a kid like an Ella Kopinski or a Hallie Price that can come in, or Izzy Landberg, that now have 2 halves of varsity eligibility on any given night. So without that JV game, you only get 3 halves per night. So if they're not playing a JV game, they're available for both first and second half for us. And we got we battled fatigue a little bit all season long. And then, on Thursday night, we got to keep people a little bit more fresh because we got more kids in the game.
Well, and that can come into play in a number of situations. If you get a player with a couple of really quick fouls, and you've got the options to go to the bench for a minute or 2 even, that's a huge advantage. So.
Yeah, and building that trust and that confidence in the kids, knowing that, you can step up and you can contribute, whether it's just giving a kid a break and going into the game and doing what you have to do and being strong with the basketball.
Well, giving one of your young players the taste of a varsity playoff game early in the playoff run, so they're not just shell-shocked when it does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something to be said about that too. I thought we started the game on Thursday a little bit nervous, a couple of minutes in before we really got going, and that's good to get those out of the system.
Well, tonight with Wilmer, you've seen them a lot. You know this program. You know their team inside out. What are the keys tonight? How would you evaluate the matchup?
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, and even now, we've talked about it being kind of a 3-horse race. Little Falls, Wilmer, and us. And I think Wilmer was going into the season thinking it was their year. We graduated Bryn Sternberg. They were looking at the section. Alex is out. They were feeling pretty good about it. And Little Falls kind of comes in, and we're still there, and things like that. So I think it's a 3-horse race, and we're gonna it's a 2-3 matchup tonight at Roosevelt at 6:00, and it's gonna be a battle, and we're gonna have to play physical. We're gonna have to keep them off the offensive glass. Maddie Malachik does a great job on the offensive glass for Wilmer, so we got to keep her out of there. And they do to Lily Lang, number 5. She's a senior for Wilmer. She's a heck of a guard. She's quick, she's fast, likes to run the floor. We have to take care of the basketball because she'll make you pay for it. If she gets a ball out in the open court, she's going to go score it. So we got to value the ball, and we got to out-rebound them.
What about their defense? Where will they cause you problems? You shot the ball really well against Ricori, but I would guess Wilmer's going to bring a little different defensive look there. Will they make it tough for you to get the shots you want?
So this is like a game of chess, right? Or I don't even know what game you want to call it, but we've seen him so much.
Right.
We've seen him 8 times so far in the last 3 years. This will be meeting number 9 between us, and you don't know what they're going to do different, right? Like, because you're kind of thinking to yourself, you don't want to overthink it, right? But as coaches, we kind of do. So it's like, okay, are they going to come out in zone? Are they going to come out in man? Are they going to try something totally different? Because zone and their 3-2 zone and their man hasn't quite worked in those previous meetings. So are they going to change, or are they going to stay true to what they do? And at the end of the day, we have to be able to be prepared for anything. And at this point of the year, you should be anyway, right? We've seen 3-2, 2-3, 1-3-1, box and 1, and man. So we've seen it all at this point. But the girls, they need a constant refresher of, we hadn't touched our 1-3-1 offense for a while, and Ricori went to it for a couple of possessions, and I called out a offense against the 1-3-1, and the girls looked at me like, did you just speak English to me right there? Because I didn't understand that. And so you have to have those constant refreshers in practice and stuff like that. But yeah, we're ready for anything. I think they're going to come up and they're going to play some pressure man. I think he's going to go to his 3-2 zone if he has to, because he really likes that, and they're long. And I think we're a tough matchup for them man-to-man because they have a couple of true post players, and we don't really have a true post player, and we can kind of run the floor and get out and go with 1 through 5, whoever we put on the floor. So I think we're kind of a tough matchup. But then on the flip side, when we're on defense too, we got to make sure that we're short up in our system, and because they do have an inside presence, so we're going to have to make sure we keep them out.
All right, Josh, should be fun. Playoff basketball at Roosevelt, 6 o'clock tonight. Otters and Wilmer Cardinals, and you can catch it here on News Talk 1250 KBRF. Better yet, go to the gym and take in the action, right?
No better place to be than live sports.
Love it.
Let's go.
Thanks, Coach.
Awesome. Thanks, Craig.
We're going to come back with some baseball talk. Yes, baseball talk. Grant Harding is here from the Spartan baseball team. They've already played a couple of games, and they've got a kind of a fun trip coming up. They're going to Florida next week. So we'll talk to Grant about that, too. Don't go away. Be sure to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926. Your chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe is coming up. Don't go away. More to come on the Coach.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
A fresh shipment of brand new Buick Enclaves and Buick Envisions has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. If you've been waiting for the perfect SUV, now's your moment. The spacious, refined Buick Enclave with 3 rows of comfort and confidence. Or the sleek, stylish Buick Envision that is smart, smooth, and ready for where life takes you. Buick, exceptional by design.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program. Hey, it's the final day of February. Major League Baseball starts on March 26th with their first regular season games. They've got spring training going on and the World Baseball Classics coming up and all that. But we're 26 days out from opening day of the regular season. But the college baseball season is on right now, and Grant Harding is here, the head coach of the Spartan baseball team at M State. They've already played a couple of games, and they're heading south to Florida for a week and are going to play a lot more games. And this is the time of the year, Grant, and welcome to the show. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
It's the time of the year when you're doing a lot of assessing out there, and I know during the winter you maybe get them in the gym a little bit, and you have a little fall baseball out there, but this Florida trip is huge, isn't it, as far as evaluating game time?
Yeah, I mean, all the games count. It's not like spring training for the pros, so we're out there competing, and yeah, you get to see what you're made of a little bit, and it's big for the program. It's great for the kids. You're in the gym from January until March, and finally get outside and see a fly ball and those things is awesome.
Let's get introduced to this team a little bit, and it all starts with pitching. We all know that, no matter what level we're talking about. So give us a little assessment of your pitching that you have available.
Well, I thought we played outside in Minnesota in February 16th, which is amazing, but we hustled down to Gus Davis and played Vermilion down there, and we threw 4 guys, and I thought all 4 guys pitched fairly well, but Errol Lampa went 5 innings, giving up 2 runs in his first college start, and was nice to see, and he competed really well on the mound. Logan Hammer's a sophomore who came out of the bullpen, and I think he went 2 2/3, only giving up 1 run, and did a nice job. And then Cameron Ripley came out of the bullpen, a freshman from Omaha, and he threw 5 pitches and got 2 outs. So, a pretty good performance. The bases were loaded for Cameron, too, so it was a tight spot to come in and get 2 outs and no runs. And, so I thought that was a good start with those guys. And then Detroit Lakes is Alex Beck started the opening game for us and pitched fairly well for a freshman in his first outing, too. And those 4 guys are kind of the core group that we're going to need to be successful this year. And those are the all right-handers, and they all throw strikes, and that's the key.
How about the bullpen? Do you have some options out there you're going to be working people in and maybe some spot starts? Because, boy, Minnesota weather, you could wind up playing 6 games in 3 days, which makes it hard on the rotation.
Yep, and we've got some dual guys that play a position and pitch, too, that are going to be big for us. And, I think Pete O'Kimish out of Wisconsin, really live arm. He's our starting shortstop. I think he'll help us on the mound out of the pen and spot starts. And Halen Jonas is our second baseman from Missouri, and same thing. He's going to have to pitch a bunch. So, we're hoping that can be a strong spot for us is throwing strikes and getting guys out on the mound.
And kind of your quarterback out there on the field is your catcher. What's it like behind the dish?
Well, we got a sophomore transfer in, and his name is Hunter Cliff. He's out of Idaho, and he really has a strong arm, understands the game, and, had a great fall. He hit over 300 in the fall, and he really runs the show back there for us and does a really nice job. He played a year out in California at Redwood Valley, hit 300 out there, so we're expecting big things out of him. He's definitely a guy that anchors our defense, and hopefully offensively he can get it going for us.
You have to have some versatility defensively. You mentioned you have some guys who will give you a pitching and play a position when they're not on the mound. That happens a lot at this level. But do you have some flexibility, some versatility in the field?
Yeah, we've got some guys that can move around pretty good. Some utility guys. I mentioned Halen Jonas. He can play anywhere on the infield. And Brody Bowes plays in the outfield and the infield, too. And at this level, if the guy goes out and throws 6 innings, maybe he can't go play short the next game. So that takes somebody out of right field, put him at second base, and somebody else gets an opportunity. And we have the flexibility with a couple guys to make things work.
How deep is your bench?
Well, we've only got 18 guys, and one of them got hurt a couple weeks ago, so 17. So we're not super deep, but I think we've got the right pieces to make things work.
How about scoring runs? Are you going to be a team that can deliver the big bomb? Or are you going to be a team that has to manufacture runs through speed?
Well, we're still trying to find our identity on offense. We struggled a little bit at Gus Davis offensively. Jacob Hansen's a sophomore transfer for us. He's in the middle of the order, plays third base, and he's got to come around and hit the ball a little bit. And then our first baseman, Carson Bussell, is a returning sophomore, and he had a really good last year at the plate, and we're expecting big things out of him. He's been really good inside, but we'll see what happens when we get into games more. But he had good at bats at Gus Davis. He just had some bad luck. He had a couple balls right at guys, and those guys got to be able to get it going for us in the middle of the order. We're going to run okay. We're going to have to pick our spots, but we've got Turner Bloom in center field can run a little bit, and we've got some different guys that can do some different things, but we're going to have to figure out our identity a little bit on offense yet.
Some of that will happen next week down in Florida. You'll get some at-bats there. What is your schedule like when you go down to Florida? I know you play a lot of games, but do you have some practice time down there also in the nice weather?
Well, budget rules everything a little bit, Craig. So we're down there for a week. We go Friday to Friday because that's the cheapest flight. And
Sure.
So we've been doing that for years. And this year, normally our flight's like at 6 a.m. and then we practice the same day we get in, which makes for a long day. But this year our flight is in middle of the day, so we're not going to get a practice in to play. We'll have an off day down there. But we won't practice while we're down there. That's why we're so lucky to get that game in at Gus Davis and see some fly balls, ground balls, and hopefully that'll be enough. Each team in the North structures it a little different. Maybe they practice and don't have an off day. To me, I think it's important that the guys have a day of rest, and it is their spring break too. Have one day where they can kind of hang out in the sun and go to the pool and those things too.
Sure. Yeah. It's and that's got to be a good recruiting tool, huh?
Yeah. I mean, we fly. We're not bussing, and we treat it first class. We're in a couple big condos and try to give them a great experience. It's always the highlight of the year for the guys, and we're not the only team that goes down there, but we do it the right way and do things our way, and it helps. I mean, if we didn't have that trip, we'd really be behind in recruiting for sure.
Probably no trouble getting chaperones for that trip?
No, not really. It's me, my assistant coach, and then we've got one other guy coming down to help to drive the car. We got two 12-passenger vans, and this year we've got so many guys we got to get a third vehicle. So nice problem to have for sure.
Absolutely. So as you begin your trek to Florida and you get to play those games, what are the top three things you want to accomplish down there that you're looking to evaluate?
Well, we want to be improving as we go forward. It is tough when it's your first time outside, seeing live pitching from somebody else, getting used to the strike zone. The big thing for us is to see improvement from game 1 to game 2 to game 3 and kind of tighten up the defense and really work on our approach at the plate and be aggressive and go compete at the plate, which, from our series with Vermilion, we need to improve on being able to compete at the plate and being aggressive. And some of that is a little shell shock, and sometimes in high school, you face a guy and he can only throw one pitch for a strike, so you sit on that, or the strike zone is a little bigger in high school, so you compete. But, learning the college game and just improving from game to game is the important part and going from there.
Who's helping you out this year on the coaching ranks?
Ethan Dillingham's back for his second year. He does a good job. He comes down from Fargo, actually, so there's some challenges there, but he's my assistant coach, and it's nice to have one, and this is his second year here, so he kind of knows the lay of the land a little bit. for the first 4 years I didn't have one, so it's nice to have some help.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Grant, thanks for coming in and sharing with us about the Spartan baseball team. Enjoy your Florida trip. Hope it goes well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Craig.
Good to talk Spartan baseball as we turn the page to March here after today. And we're going to talk Hillcrest basketball for the next half hour. Girls basketball playoff game tonight. Boys start the playoffs next week, get their seeding stuff today. So we've got a lot to cover in the next 30 minutes. Be sure to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926 for your chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. We'll be giving that away between our next two interviews. So be sure and do that right now as we go to break on the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
A fresh shipment of brand new Buick Enclaves and Buick Envisions has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. If you've been waiting for the perfect SUV, now's your moment. The spacious, refined Buick Enclave with 3 rows of comfort and confidence. Or the sleek, stylish Buick Envision that is smart, smooth, and ready for where life takes you. Buick, exceptional by design.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back. This is the Hillcrest portion of the Coaches Show. The next 30 minutes, we're talking Comet Boys first with Donovan Rognes, who is awaiting information on the postseason section. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to start there. We've got a couple of games to talk about this past week, and we'll do that. But since it is seeding day, and since Section 6A is going to be just so much fun to follow, and I mean, yeah, Henning's undefeated, and they're good, really good, number 1 in the state. They've got to be, I guess, a favorite going in, but I'm telling you, there are some really good teams in this section, Donnie, and I'm sure you're well aware of it because you're right in the midst of it.
Yeah. So we have 22 teams in our sections. We've got a large section.
Crazy.
And I think when I looked the other day, I could be wrong, but really close. The top 7 teams all are 20-plus win seasons.
Wow.
Right? So there's definitely competition in our section, yeah.
And there are some really good teams that are going on the road early rounds of the playoffs then, once you get whittled down to where you should be in a section. So it's going to be interesting, no doubt about it. No easy comers in this one. As far as the Comets go, you've got a lot going for you. You've got a senior group we've talked about many times, an experienced group, an experienced tournament group with their football success. And these guys just know how to win. They know how to compete. And as coaches, you must be pretty confident going in to the postseason with that experience.
Yeah, I've said this before on the show, but it's such a gift as a coach to have the leadership that we have. So we've got 7 seniors. They're our first 7 people off the bench, and a number of them played football. So they have that experience that they that really shows up in games. Like they don't get rattled. You know, if another team goes on a run, our guys are just like, okay, we just got to keep playing basketball. We'll do just fine. You know. And so that's such a gift for the coach. But yeah, coming into playoffs, we're excited. I think we're on a 10-game winning streak or something. So we're playing well. The last 2 games, we've actually been without Sean Berge, who's one of our top players, but he's been out with an ankle injury and sounds like he's healing up well. And hopefully we'll get him back for sort of playoffs. But when one guy's down, next man up. And you just watch our team, again, with that leadership, someone just kind of steps in and we just keep playing hard. And our guys are such team players that we don't need one focal point. We all just work together so well. So, yeah.
Well, you won convincingly on Tuesday against Lake Park Ottoman, beat them 81-36. And then last night up in Ulen,
yep.
It was 77-61 over the Titans. Right now, with this winning streak that you're on and scoring, 150-plus points, but giving up less than 100 in those 2 games, what's kind of driving the success right now? Is your defense driving your success, or is it a combination?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination. I think there's been, in our last 10 games, a number of games where our offense feeds off our defense, so our defense just locks down and finds ways to get defensive boards and get steals and push the ball in transition. So then we start gearing up that way. But we've also had many games where we just shoot really well. Like when we played Lake Park, we shot really well. And so, like we've talked about before, Coach Resloff, back in the day, when my team is shooting well, I'm a really good coach. And it's so true. Like when your guys are playing well, everything else just flows into the game. You start playing better defense and you start rebounding faster and all the things, and so it is a game by game thing. But I would say our defense for sure is our cornerstone. That's where we want to build our team from. But then there's games where we just start shooting really well and teams get flustered and things just roll.
Are you finding the right shots in your offense right now? Are you guys working the ball around to a point where you're not forcing things?
Yeah, I think that we're starting to come into a really nice groove with our offense. Ethan is such a good presence down low. He's so physical and so tough, and so when the ball goes through him, they have to double team. We get kickouts and we get ball reversals and attacking closeouts and. Our guys are learning not to force shots because we don't need to force shots.
Mm-hmm.
We have 7 of these top guys that are out there playing, and they just understand the game because they've been playing for such a long time. So they know that they can be patient. 35 seconds is a long time on offense. And on the flip side, it's a long time to play defense.
Right.
So if you can make a team play hard defense for 30 seconds, you might find a really nice shot at 5 seconds, and that's okay. We don't need to score in the first 5. We just want a good shot.
Yeah, be patient.
Yeah.
And you're also, I would guess, with the rebound numbers I see game in and game out, you're also creating some second chance opportunities if you do miss a shot. And rebounding, you've got to feel good about where you're at with that part of the game.
Yeah, I'll touch on Ethan again. Like Ethan is just such a physical presence down low, and he works so hard, and he's got an instinct, right? I think of back when I used to play, and my buddy Nick Hansen had such great instinct. When the shot goes up, he knew where to kind of maneuver to get that position, and Ethan does that really well. He knows to kind of leak to the weak side a little bit because most of the rebounds go. I mean, he just kind of has that instinct, and so he's been averaging 12, 13 rebounds a game. Many of those are offensive because he'll follow the drive and go clean up after a miss, and then Lincoln's been stepping up really well with rebounds, really big rebounds last night against in Ulen, and then when Sean plays, he's super aggressive down there too, and so rebounding. Yeah, I love our aggressiveness going after the ball.
Tell us about last night's game. I didn't see a recap on that one. You won 77-61 on the road, and you always hope you come out fast, start strong on the road. Did that happen last night?
It actually didn't happen last night. Ulen came out gunning. They have some really nice athletes. They got some good players, and we went in the locker room at halftime tied at 41.
Okay.
And we just kind of took our breath, and we just said, all right, guys, we know the game plan, and we've deviated from what we want to do, and I think it's pretty simple. We need to go back to our original game plan, and we need to play disciplined basketball. And then I'll credit Micah Rasmussen. He's our sophomore that came off the bench yesterday, and he just played phenomenal defense on their scorer and actually held him to 0 points in the second half, which was just incredible to watch him play.
Sure.
And so when we swarm the defense like we did the second half, going back to our original question, it just starts to flow things. So they ended up with 61 points. So they scored 41 in the first half, and then we held them to 20 in the second half. And that's the game changer. Again, we build our success on our defense. And last night, the second half, our defense came through.
And it seems like, and maybe it's just during this winning streak that you're on, but it seems like you don't get many stretches where you have a scoring drought.
And I'll go back to crediting our players, right? We've got these 7 guys that have been playing, and then we got a couple sophomores like Micah will come off the bench, and Will Salvig does a great job, and Sam Swenson comes in a little bit too, and we have people that are very comfortable shooting the basketball. So scoring droughts, I mean, if there's teams that have 2 or 3 great players and those are kind of shut down, then you're kind of like, where are we getting our offense from? We have a lot of guys that are very confident in shooting the basketball. So who are you going to guard? You know, kind of pick your poison sometimes. And if someone's, being shut down, then next man up. And then we love that as a team.
So explain the QRF to us, Donnie.
Boy. Yeah, right.
The way it is right now in Section 6A, who do you it's so hard. Who do you think you're going to play, and where are you going to land there in that seeding process, and what is going to make that happen?
Yeah, right. The QRF is I always have to default to my assistant, Andy Stender. He's our my QRF guy. I text him, all the questions all the time. But anyway, so as I see it right now, we were just looking at it this morning. Henning will probably get the number 1 seed. Pelican will get number 2. And then there's this 9-point differential that if you're within 9 points and then you've won the head-to-head, you can still jump the person on top of you. And so it's either going to be Breck at 3 or Park at 3, and then Breck at 4 and Park at 4. They'll flip-flop, and then we're probably sitting at the 5 seed. So we're either going to go to Breck or go to Park for second round. If we, obviously looking at if you win the first round, not assuming we're going to, but yeah. And then there's that pigtail game that happens on Tuesday, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work. And then we will play a first round off of that on
at
Thursday.
home.
At home on Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. You get a home game out of the deal, and that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 of the top teams in the state in your section, Henning and Pelican.
Yeah. Yeah. And Breck and Park and us.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're not bad either, right?
All receiving votes at one point,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pelican and Breck had a battle last night that Pelican won by 3, I think it was. So it is going to be just wild. So having said that, and all these highly ranked teams and 720 win teams, is anybody playing better right now? Obviously, Henning hasn't lost than the Comets. I mean, you're on a 10-game run here. You're right where you want to be going into playoff time. And it's like I talked to Brad Strand earlier in for Matt Johnson. I don't want to play the Otters right now. I don't know that I want to play the Comets right now.
Yeah, we're super thankful. We're grateful. We've had I think we started off our season really slow with the football. I don't want to call it hangover because that's such success, right? But like just really finding our groove, and then after Christmas we started to pick that up a little bit, and our guys have really settled in. So I think we're playing really, really well. Are we a perfect team? No. Can we have a stagnant night? Absolutely. Are we a bunch of high school kids that anything can influence their life on a daily basis? Absolutely, right? But to your point, we're playing really strong basketball. And most importantly, we're playing a really strong team basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We're not relying on 1 or 2 guys to run the show for us. Any night, anybody can be the success story.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't touch on this, but Lincoln scored 39 last night. Ethan scored 18 last night.
Yeah.
We just got people that can score, and if one person doesn't, then the next person can. And we're super thankful for that.
Well, and to step up and win those 2 games the way he did without Sean Berge in the lineup, I mean, that shows you something too.
Yeah, and what's really cool about that, the blessing in disguise a little bit when somebody has an injury is that we get used to playing with Sean, but now when Sean's out, it's a little bit of like, all right, Lincoln and Ethan, and then the next guy, 4, 5, 6 guy, like who's going to kind of supplement Sean's athletic abilities, intensity, and all those things, and so we've been able to see some people rise up into that. So what does that do? That doesn't replace Sean. It gives other people more confidence so that going into playoffs, we're even more ready. We're not stuck in this like, oh, we're just going to go through Sean or go through Lincoln or Ethan. Like we've got Zane had a phenomenal game against Lake Park, and Micah had a phenomenal game last night, and Will had a nice game against Lake Park. So you get to see these other guys that get a little bit more minutes flourish. And as a coach, you just sit back and smile, and you're just like, wow, this is great.
Along for the ride.
Yeah.
Well, Randy Misagata said in his comments to me last night on his article that we put on the website when Henning finished their perfect regular season This is as tough a section as I have seen in my years. And been there a long time and seen a lot of good basketball. So we're in for a fun couple of weeks.
Yeah, it is going to be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good luck, Donnie. Thank you.
Thank you.
Donovan Rognes, head coach of the Hillcrest boys basketball team. We're talking Hillcrest girls after this timeout. And when I come back, we'll have the winner of our $25 Viking Cafe gift certificate on the Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
A fresh shipment of brand new Buick Enclaves and Buick Envisions has arrived at Minnesota Motor Company in Fergus Falls. If you've been waiting for the perfect SUV, now's your moment. The spacious, refined Buick Enclave with 3 rows of comfort and confidence. Or the sleek, stylish Buick Envision that is smart, smooth, and ready for where life takes you. Buick, exceptional by design.
Minnesota Motor.
South Pebble Lake Road, Fergus Falls.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number?
I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program, and congratulations to Sue Erickson. She is the winner of our $25 Viking Cafe gift certificate. So thank you, Sue, for entering the contest and for watching the program. We're going to continue with our Hillcrest basketball talk. Girls basketball assistant coach Ryan Retzloff is here. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on.
Yeah, fun to be here.
Well, what a run for the Comets.
It has been a fun year. We have enjoyed pretty much every step of the way. So
25-2, undefeated conference season. Boys were undefeated in the conference season too, I believe. You're both conference champions. There's a lot of celebrating going on at Hillcrest right now.
yeah, I think there's a lot of enthusiasm in the Hillcrest community, hopefully in the Fergus community at large too, about what's going on there. 2 very fun teams. It's fun to get out and watch the boys when we're able to, and they're having a great year, and we're excited about playoffs. So,
how satisfying is it to get that number 1 seed in the section? Because that's not easy, and this is a tough section.
yeah, it's very satisfying. Yeah, you look at our section, and it is a gauntlet. You start at the top, 4 teams. You've got Hillcrest, Breckenridge, Rossay, and
Underwood.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. Yep. All 21 teams.
Yeah.
And Breckenridge is doing it in the Heart of Lake Conference, so really impressive. And then 5th is West Central, the defending state champs.
Yeah, throw them in there, yeah.
Park Region and Lake Park Autumn each have 18 wins, and then Hancock, they have just a tradition of winning, and they know how to win as well. So 1 to 8 that's left. I think any team that, comes to play on a given night could come out of there. So,
well, and as that top seed, you got playoff action at home the other night. You get playoff action at home tonight. That's always a bonus. It's so much fun to play playoff basketball on your home floor.
Yeah, absolutely. The girls love being at home. We have a good crowd that shows up, and just a lot of excitement. A lot of fun to see. Everybody all dressed in red or white or whatever the night is. So
right, 71-38 against Henning the other night. when you get out there as a number one seed, everybody expects you to go out and win, but you still have to go play the game and hopefully play at a high level, which is not always easy to do when it's 1 versus 8, because in the back of your mind, it's like, well, we should win this game, But how did you feel your girls accepted that role as the favorite in that first game out?
Yeah, well, they were definitely excited. So they came out and we talked about needing to play hard and being the aggressor right away. And they took that to heart. And, our defense came out and we got in our press right away and we're able to force some turnovers and get some easy looks. And that really just kind of set the tone, I think, for the whole game. But there's no guarantee ever.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no guarantee that you don't get in foul trouble or you don't have an injury or I've been around long enough to know that all sorts of things can happen. And so to come out and get the win was great. I think Henning has a bright future. They have some real young players on their team. And, the coaches are good there and, good experience for them too, hopefully. So. Yeah,
I think Ryan Emter's done a really nice job with that team, and they were right around 500, I think, at the end of the year, record-wise, so they had a lot of improvement from last year.
Yeah, I think they went from 3 wins to 13 wins.
Right.
And, that's saying something, especially with a really young group of girls, and like I said, I think they've got a bright future, so.
I loved what Ryan said, and I don't know if you saw the article on my website or not, and I'm sure he maybe voiced it to the coaches also, but at the end of the game the other night, there was a special moment for one of their seniors, Monica Hansen, who had a season-ending injury just 2 games into the year. And they put her out on the floor in the final minutes, and he said the Comets intentionally threw the ball away, let us have the ball. We got her a shot. She scored in her last game, very emotional. And he said that's Hillcrest. That's the way they are. I mean, that speaks volumes to what's going on in this program as opposed to just the numbers on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. And before the game, Chris Dagg is their assistant coach.
Yeah.
And Chris played for my dad decades ago. And I've known Chris for a long time. And he came over and explained the situation to us. And, the game ended up in a situation where that was allowable. And it was really fun to see. We had a little bit of confusion from our girls when Coach was telling her to throw the ball out of bounds. But she was able to get in. And I think everybody has, sympathies towards somebody that has put in so much time and then they get sidelined to injury. And so her able to go in, get that basket, see the whole gym stand up and applaud for her. It was really a special thing. And you see, I had a number of people come up and just say, yeah, I didn't have dry eyes after that. So it's pretty neat.
It is. It's a great testament to what the spirit of competitive sports should be. And congratulations to the coaches and the kids and the community on having that type of an approach and letting another player experience that. That's just awesome. I love that story. We need a movie on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And starring.
We'll do it, Craig. You organize it.
All right, I'll get that going along with the book about your dad's coaching experiences. Let's talk about your team as you head to tonight's game, because there's no doubt, Ryan, you've got girls that can put the ball in the basket. You got 2 of them living under your roof with Elsa and Elin, who've had outstanding years. Ella Knutson can do anything on the basketball court, including score. I mean, she doesn't have to do as much scoring maybe as she would on other teams because of the presence of the other scorers that I mentioned. But it isn't just an offensive team, and a lot of your offense is built on your defense. And when I've seen you play a couple of times this year, it's your ranginess on defense that impresses me and gets you jump-started a lot of nights.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be your key here the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. We use our defense to jumpstart our offense. So if we can get out there, the girls love to press. If we ever say we're not pressing, they're kind of disappointed for whatever reason. But, Emmy Berge, Elsa, Elin, Ella, Avea, these girls are all very long. And they like to get in passing lanes, and they work hard, and they look to try and turn the ball over. And, Yeah, so then we get some transition points, and that leads to great baskets. But, you're just mentioned Ella earlier, and she is really the glue that holds the team together. Whatever hole we need to plug, we ask her to plug it for us, whether it's on defense or whether it's on offense or whether it's communication. And she's just the definition of a true senior leader.
Yeah.
And now we're also getting some production from our other girls too. Emmy Berge started to knock down some 3-pointers. Stella Moline is deadly from her spot in the corner, and Brooke Swedberg too comes in and is playing with confidence, and she's doing some great things for us as well. So
you even had Paisley Peterson scored 5 the other night off the bench against Henning. So
yeah,
that was good to see too.
Yeah, it was fun to see some of our girls come in, and then Natalie Magert too got in, and she has been a senior in our program for many years, and just really fun to see her get in and be in, and what a blessing she's been to our program for so long. So,
folks, you younger people probably don't remember Ryan, but he was one of the best rebounders to ever come through Fergus Falls or the upper Midwest. And I would think, Ryan, you have had just a lot of fun working with, Ella, and Avea Stender has made great strides rebounding. Now, how much time do you spend working with those girls on the finer points of rebounding?
Finer points of rebounding. Well, we always talk about rebounding is heart. So if you are rebounding the ball, you have more heart than other teams as you want it more. And Avea has just been outstanding the last few games. I think double-digit rebounds,
right.
And she's really learned how to seal. But on top of Avea, our guards this year have been outstanding rebounders. If you have 4 of your guards each getting 5 or 6 rebounds a game, in addition to Avea getting hers, that really goes a long ways. So, it's fun to see him go get the ball.
I love that part of the game, the way it has, maybe it hasn't changed, but it seems to me like in the old days, you didn't look for guards to get many rebounds. Now everybody's crashing the boards, and you've seen Elsa and Elin get double-digit rebounds and double-doubles. Everybody's going after the ball, and it is that heart you're talking about. So, yeah, anybody that you play better be conscious of that for sure, because the Comets are going to be crashing the boards all night long, no doubt about it. So let's look at Hancock in our final couple of minutes here. You've played them twice this year. You've won by 25-30 each time out. But you mentioned it. The Owls are a team that has a rich tradition. They've had strong teams. They won the state tournament not that many years ago, 4 years ago.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah. So what do you take into tonight's game for a third meeting? They always say, it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and I guess that's true in sports. But what do you take into tonight's game as the keys to moving on to the next round?
Yeah, certainly we can't underestimate Hancock. They are a good team, know how to win. They have one of the top 20-29 guards in the state in Taylor Nesvig. She's incredibly quick and is a great scorer. They've got Mariah Hoberg, which is she is a younger player too, and a big, strong post, great rebounder. And then they're surrounded by some shooters. So we can't underestimate them at all. We have to come in and be the aggressor. I think some of the keys for us tonight will be our rebounding, our defensive intensity, and then also staying out of foul trouble. So I think those are some of our keys for tonight, but it should be a fun game.
Well, it will be. There's no doubt about it. And I know it's been a fun season, and I look at your coaching staff, with led by Hannah Clark, of course, and then with you and Greg Preston and JP Stender. And you've got some pretty talented basketball players right there and coaches. How much fun has it been for you to be a part of this coaching staff?
Oh, it's really fun. I mean, practice is almost always the highlight of my day. Hannah is arguably the greatest basketball player to ever come out of Fergus. Coach Preston's a legend. JP is one of my best friends. Yeah. And we have Mackenzie Foss too, who's now coaching our junior high team and doing stats for us as well during the game. And so, yeah, it's a great deal. They don't quite make as much fun of me as my dad and brother did back in the day.
Yeah.
But Hannah's getting closer every year. So
okay, it won't be long. Yeah. Well, Ryan, good luck to the Comets tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Ryan Retzloff, assistant coach to the Hillcrest girls basketball team. to Hannah Clark joining us, and be sure to tune in again next week from 8 to 9:30 here on News Talk 1250 KBRF for the Coaches Show, brought to you by the Viking Cafe.
Thank you for joining us for the News Talk 1250 KBRF Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare, Nelson Auto Center,